Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday afternoon. What's the date today? 14th of May. Time's flying along, isn't it? Now at the moment, lots happening. We're all over the place. We're not quite sure where we're going, but we've had one or two things. I don't know what we call lifted or just made available to us. We can go and walk for as long as we want. I don't really think that was affecting too many folks down here from what I could see. Certainly the traffic outside on Outland Road is now pretty, well, it's increasing, and the car parks over the road on Central Park have got a lot of cars in now, so people are now moving around. The temptation, isn't it? The temptation to go and start exploring a little further. I live in Plymouth, and I haven't seen the sea for since lockdown, since March. It's only what, half a mile away? Well, a mile, isn't it? A mile and a quarter, mile house, yeah, mile and a quarter away, just over there, and I haven't seen it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I see it in the distance. There's a big ship in there the other day. Don't know what that was doing. A big grey one. So it must be something to do with the Navy, a supply ship or something. It's just over there. Temptation to go and have a look. Well, we'll see what happens. We've had one or two things, as we know, lifted from us. Sunday, I was back in church with all this new Ultra HD camera and all that lot. Webcams, by the way, now almost something you can't get. They're very hard to get, so I was very lucky to get this one. It's taken a little bit of jiggery pokery. Now know what was good on Sunday, what wasn't. Thank you for your comments, by the way. Always, I sound like a right YouTuber blogger, but it is very handy to know what you think. And I've had no questions, by the way. Nobody seems to be interested in the Gospels. No, I'm not sure about that. I'm sure you are. You'll get the sheets along with this video, so you can have a look, see if there's anything they want to do, and send me a question for tonight when we'll be doing Discovering the Gospels, or pop it in on the Facebook thing with Bob. I'll have a look at that before we do it, or email me. I'll look at that before we start. So do that. If it comes in late, well then we'll pick it up later on. Please do ask me questions. So we're sort of a bit of an in-betweeny world, and very much the sense at the moment, aren't we, of in where we are right now. We're in an in-betweeny world. We've had Easter. Seems a long time ago since Easter now, 6 weeks. It's, you know, hallelujah. Oh, yeah, so what? it's running a bit flat. 6 weeks ago, and we're now kind of turning our minds. We're getting a little bit more excited, aren't we? We know we've got Ascension next week, and then Pentecost coming up. Normally we'd have a bit of a do for that, but it is certainly a milestone in the year. And now, of course, we're being able to stream the services from in the church. You'll see the colours change. You couldn't really see the colours changing here much, unless I change stuff in the. Change my cushions. I don't think there's much I can do. You know, so things change a little bit. Just behind me on that side, there is a box there. You can see that. But believe it or not, that's I ordered it about 3 months ago. It's a welcome poster for the church for the summer. Hope you'll be able to see it. Walk in the door and see it, but we'll have to see about that. So we find ourselves, we're waiting for all the season to change, as it were. As well, we are waiting to see how our lives will be able to change, or will need to change over the next weeks, months, maybe a year or so. Don't know. News is coming in all the time, and you do wonder about that period between Christ's resurrection and Pentecost. On the home sheet, the thing with Bob, the home worship sheet with the little. You can read it with this camera. That's really good. Not very well folded, this one, but on the home sheet, you see me. I'll talk a little bit about that time in between as we get from the gospel. See how that goes. We'll probably flesh out that one a little bit more tonight. And we were given like promises Christ is teaching us. Don't know about, just wait. So we'll see how that goes. See how that fleshes out tonight. I'm curious about that. I have to say that lethargy sets in, Easter lethargy, which is a terrible thing to have really, because we are an Easter people. So we're in a bit of an in-betweeny world at the moment. I don't know how you're reacting to it, how you're doing. Certainly our dog seems to know that Dartmoor is now within reach. So I suspect as every other dog in Plymouth know that Dartmoor is in reach. So let things settle down. It feels weird going out. You feel like you don't want to because you don't want to be part of it. You need to protect those around you. Out the woods. What else is going on? Things are sort of fairly quiet and calm. Schools are being challenged to have kids go back. As you heard the other day. The teachers, by the way, have never stopped. They've been working and very humble today. The other day you had a governance meeting. We're now zooming online. Looks like these on TV and the news when you have all different picture people up there all looking at each other. We're told that the teachers all worked all the way through the school holidays. It's just made no difference, and they've all still been at work. They can't be furloughed. They do work, and they've done extraordinary things. Teachers throughout the schools. They're a little bit of a hidden army. They've been collecting for food and so forth, and they've been sending out food parcels, phoning up children, trying to get them to keep going at work. It's a little hidden. So, if you know teachers, we've been applauding NHS rightly, we've been applauding social care rightly, we've been applauding all those in our care homes rightly, and the others, police and so forth. But don't forget the teachers. They've been trying their hardest, sometimes with a little bit of indifference from the children and the families themselves, to try and keep the aspirations open. Very much in the way that we are talking today about this time of Jesus. He'll talk to us as children tonight in the Gospel on Sunday. I'm trying not to do Sundays. I'm quite excited about Sunday's Gospel. Talking to us, he refers to us as children, trying to keep our aspirations and our confidence up for what is to come. And that's what they're doing. We'll see what happens there. Please don't get annoyed when they go, we can't take the kids into school because it's very difficult. It simply is very difficult. If you want to vent about that, phone me up and I'll hopefully explain how difficult it is to work with the kids before in this situation. So very interesting. What else is going on around here? We've not yet, of course, had the work done on the hall with the electrics. We're not doing that yet. Looks great, but behind the scenes it's pretty ropey, to say the least, and does need replacing before it's all condemned in a year or so. But that's not started yet. We're holding on that. The hall won't be open for months. The church isn't going to be open probably till September, I suspect. I don't know, but I suspect so. It's going to be quite a long time. We have to work out ways of how we can do things. It's very different to going to the shops. Lots of staff, lots of movement, where we have a different way of doing things. So, and the hall likewise is part of the grounds here. We have a responsibility. So we haven't started any of that yet. There's no rush. Again, it's that odd feeling of we'd love to, but we're not quite sure. Let's get it right. So we're really caught in a wave. So I'd love to give you a great positive message and tell you everything's going on. Well, of course it is Easter time, and that's always positive. But we are waiting, and that's very difficult indeed. Anything else going on? There's no movements around the diocese yet, and nobody's shifting. Nothing's really happening. We've been just gently plodding away within the city and so forth. And we say so far, touch wood, we've not been overly burdened by the COVID-19 virus. We pray that continues and improves across the world and our country. Much of practical questions. So the sheets, they come out each week. They are the same. I try and keep these, by the way, in exactly the same format. They might print off differently, might look different on your screens, but when I put them through the machine, they appear exactly the same way that you have them week by week on a Sunday, and that's important because we need. One of the things that have to balance up, I do, is how we use this, how we keep reaching out, plus also how we maintain our rhythm of worship and regular life. I hope that if you gather these up, if you are an ardent collector of parish news sheets, of weekly sheets, which some of you I know are, there's always some. I'm very proud of them. Why not? Why not indeed? You look back at it from years ago and say, you said Father Week. No. I'm doing a Starmer. No, look, that you'll look back at these and you'll see the continuity, apart from the bit at the back that mentions where we are, but the readings there, we've got the hymns wonderfully being provided by Catherine, and some of the music that is important and familiar for us, and the prayers. One question I have been asked several times, and I'll just answer it again. While I'm doing the services, don't I sort of pray like we do in church when we go through the names? That's because it's going onto the World Wide Web, and I cannot publish names which could then be heard anyway. It's not right. You have to protect people's data and rights. So that's why we don't. That's why you'll hear me often when we pray. So we pray for all those on our sheets, on our section. If you don't receive a sheet, email me and you can get it, if I know you. but that's what it is. That's why we don't use the specific names. It's not right, but there's also a challenge for us. So remember, these sheets are not for Sundays. They are for the Sunday's music and readings, but they are for the week, and as they always are. So when we are in church and on a Sunday, and I find these all stacked up at the back afterwards, my heart sinks. When I find them all gone, my heart soars, because I know it gives us a chance. And they're the kind of sheets. We don't have Parish Magazine here because normally there's so much stuff in it that if you add it all together, there's more stuff in this over a year than there would be in half a dozen magazines. So and it's immediate, so it gives a chance to be more flexible. So these are for reading throughout the week, not just on Sundays. And you've now probably got a stack of them on your computers. So I'm sorry, even when we go back to church, I'll keep sending them out here. You'll have them. There we go. Brave new world, as you do. That's really it. The hair's still growing. Look at that. They're getting right long hair. So we're all looking like we're going back to the 70s here. So it's got fun, really. The dog's getting shaggier. The gardens keep growing. The grass in the churchyard, oh my word, what? It's a perfect year for growing. Sort of plough it up, put veg in, I think. No. So we'll be out there again, I think, tomorrow with the mower. It's good exercise. I don't really need to leave the grounds to exercise, to get the mower out and do half a mile without going anywhere, really. And the church itself, the buildings itself are in wonderful condition, looked after so well that they are of no burden to us, which is important. They're not a burden to us at all. So there we are. So if you're tuning in, anyone that's new to the Facebook pages, hi, nice to see you all. Welcome along St Bart's in the sunny southwest, well, it is today anyway, very nice. And if you're receiving this through emails and reading it on YouTube, fantastic. Be brave, go and join Facebook as well, then you get in both ways, and we can do some live stuff. We can try some other bits and pieces out. As I say, it is next week I'm going to be sending for Ascension something to the younger members. We'll be getting that on Tuesday. For the younger members, I promised it, and now we've got it. Now I've got all this new computer equipment, fancy stuff going. You can't see it. It's the same. It's a bit you know, it's very much like this time of year. My computer equipment, the box on the outside is the same, the screen is the same. Bit I'm looking at now, the mouse the same, keyboard the same, but everything inside has been renewed and made better. There's a 21st century explanation for Pentecost. We look at the same on the outside, but inside what we have has been transformed and made. Well, there we are. Might be a real techno Pentecost thing coming along. See what we do. No balloons this year, but we'll see what we can do. The imagination runs wild, and mind boggles what we can do. Those of you who had to suffer balloons in churches with me before know that I quite like that, so I'll have to see what we can do by using the power of technology. Oh, I don't know. I do say these things, don't I? I remember many years ago, a lovely church warden in Bovey, she said, here he goes again. I said something, here he goes again. And they all look, oh, what we can do now, Father? So, no, here we go. I'm not that bad, am I? I don't know. Maybe I am. I won't embarrass her in case she's watching. So, that's it for this week. We're in betweenies. We're in the in-betweenies. We're waiting. We're learning. We're growing up. Let's see how that emerges over the next week as we come to the Ascension and then the week after. Pentecost. Yeah, love it. Okay, so there we are. I'll keep calling you around. Nice to speak to you when I do speak to you. Lovely to hear you. I don't know why I said that. Normally to those that aren't online, I have to speak from the phone. But do stay in touch and let me know what's going on. But God bless. As I say, Father Richard out. Catch you later. Bye.